Welcome to the Independent Characters, episode 215.
Wow.
But it feels like the first one.
It's the first one all over again.
A little out of practice.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, we're trying some new things. We'll see how it goes. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for coming and joining us here. I mean, the people in the studio.
Oh.
And for the people listening, thank you for coming back. I hope you're still listening. I hope you're still listening at this point. Normally, at this point, we would talk about our show sponsors. However, we do not have a Patreon any longer. But more news on that in the future. Later in the episode. It's been a few years. Basically, what we're going to do at this point. Joined here by Aaron, Josh, and Justin, and we're going to talk about what we've been up to. We've gone through,
or lack thereof.
Yeah, or lack thereof, a global pandemic. You know, but I mean, even what we've been up to, not necessarily within 40K specifically. But
yeah, there's been a lot of life in the last couple of years.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
for sure. So we'll give an update on that. I've got an update here from Adon. Adon cannot be on the show. We'll explain why in a little bit. And then Jody will be joining us in future episodes, and I'll let him talk about his update at that point. But yeah. So that's what the show's going to be about. First thing I want to talk about, though, and we haven't done this in forever, let's talk about our elite choice.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Who wants to go first? I'll go first.
Take it down.
All right, let me take it down. So I was looking through today. In fact, I was scrolling back for quite a while, looking at all the work people are still submitting to the Facebook group. And I'm shocked that the Facebook group is, after 2 years, it's been 2 years since we've been on the air. And people are still, that Facebook group is still active, still popular.
Oh, it's great.
People are still very friendly.
Keeping the faith, you know?
That's right. And I looked at Michael Castro he 3D printed and painted an orc rocket. And it just embodies for me orcs, right?
Yeah,
and the thing I love about orcs, I think more than any other, and you can do this with Chaos Justin those in particular, but I feel like orcs more than any other army allow you to kind of break out of the range really far, create your own unique, weird things around them.
Orcs don't do STCs.
And assign rules to
Totally.
Very true.
Yeah. And so I thought this thing was really awesome. I think it was a great representation of orc ingenuity. And I think that the color schemes and everything, I'm always impressed when people can do really great orc color schemes with checkerboards and all that stuff. And this was just fantastic. I think Loopy would be proud of this orc rocket.
Absolutely.
He's got like an old school second edition orc up top, too.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I know.
I'm going to affectionately nickname this one the Grocket.
The Grocket.
The Grot Rocket. Yeah, just Grocket.
Yeah.
Love it.
So that's actually one of my problems with my orcs is I feel like I can't break out to that.
You're too constrained by the way the models come.
Too constrained by my lack of imagination, I guess.
I don't know. You look at Loopy, who got like a Thunderhawk and then just chopped it up to make it an orc vehicle.
that's so...
And I had a heart attack.
It hurts.
I had a heart attack when he did that. So
Absolutely.
So that was my pick. I think it was awesome. Michael.
It is awesome.
Great work. Aaron, what did you pick?
I picked from Patrick Prager, excuse me.
Prager?
The work on the lion that he's doing. It's an amazing model. And he's not done yet, and he makes that very clear, but I love where he's going with it.
Yeah.
It looks really sleek. I love the helmeted head. He's got this one has the helmet with the cowl on it.
Yep. That's my favorite one, I think.
And how cool is
Absolutely.
that kit has four different heads?
Yeah.
Yeah, more of that, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. But I mean, it's just, if he left it like this, I would totally put this on the table and it would be perfect for anything I would do around it, right? But for knowing that he's just starting with it,
I think it still has a lot of work to go on it.
He does, yeah.
Yeah.
And I've seen him.
It's a great start. And I think
he's part of my little other little hobby group hangout.
Yeah.
And I've seen him kind of work on it, and I guarantee this is far from done. But
yeah.
yeah. Oh, I'm sure it
looking
is.
good.
But it's like the gradation on it is really well done. Like
Yeah.
it just looks really good, and I think that I can't wait to see it finished.
for sure.
Looking awesome.
Good
What
job,
about you, Josh?
So I got to call out Austin Lynn here for his Legio Krytos. Austin has done an amazing job with painting so many Titans over the years. He's
Has
been
he?
there. Yeah. Yeah, you would know.
Austin painted my Titans.
Yeah.
So.
Between the Legio Storm he's done, the Legio Mortis he's done for you, and this is now his third Legio that he's working. Actually, he's done a couple for AJ also. So this is probably his fifth or maybe
Wait a
his
minute, he's
sixth
cheating on me with AJ?
Yeah, he is.
Austin?
Yeah, I think at the same time too.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
At least
That's usually how cheating works.
the early on.
Same
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Anyways, he's really, I think, taken this to the next level. He's very comfortable painting at the scale with Titans, things like that. He's introduced additional layers of just hobby in there with enamel weathering, full color decals, and just the sheer speed at which he busted this out. This was like maybe a week or two, and he's got 6 Titans there, which is more than a lot of people even have painted. And he just whipped it out and did an amazing job.
Yeah, it looks great.
He loves painting Titans.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's the only thing he's painting right now. Although he was talking to me about Sisters of Battle earlier today, but he loves painting Titans.
At some point soon, I'll actually have to get a game with him.
Yeah, it'd be nice. That's on him though. He's like super busy.
Not a model elite choice, but I did want to call out Kevin McGill on the Facebook page specifically because I feel like he's kept a lot going on that, just with the work in progress Wednesdays, the finish Fridays, things like that. Just kind of and posting just a lot of news in there.
That's a great call.
I feel like he's been a good pillar of keeping that Facebook community.
That's a
going,
great call.
So I just wanted to call him out for that. Yeah,
Very cool. What about you, Justin?
Wrong with a double call out. Speaking of which, this whole Titanicus thing, can you guys please teach me this game at some point?
Sure.
First hit's free, but
I know I'll be all in.
You're not going to get into it.
I mean, I know they're not going to release any Eldar Titans before long, so I might as well dive in with these monkey Titans.
You should.
I've heard nothing. I've never heard a single person say that's a boring game.
Such a good game.
It's not a boring game.
Yeah. So one day,
All right.
I went for Bruce Sullivan, and this guy's awesome. Met him in person several times through CK and stuff. And I'm just a sucker for dads playing games of Warhammer with their young kids. You know, call me crazy. Just
Why? Has your kid shown any interest
in painting mostly?
Okay.
Yeah, painting mostly.
So he takes after you, is what you're saying?
Yeah, basically. I mean, I still like to play once in a while, but yeah, no, he's quite the little artist, you know. So it's good to see.
Yeah.
But just a cool setup. You know that kid is having the time of his life.
Yeah.
You know, and the way he set it up with using the Space Hulk tiles and 40K rules and stuff, like epic, super cool.
Yep.
Love
Absolutely.
it. Yeah, the pictures are fantastic. Pictures are fantastic.
That's about the age I started with, and here we are now. So
Yeah.
early and often.
No regrets.
Yeah,
None.
All right. So with that said, let's take a short break. Then we'll come right back for our segment 1, which is really going to be about kind of workbench, what we've been up to, that kind of stuff. So we'll be right back. Okay. We're back. Thanks for joining. So it has been, as we said earlier, a couple years. Again, if you're listening, thank you so much for keeping the faith. If it was so funny that so many people had said, "Oh, I never unsubscribed," so when this drops, it'll immediately feed up into their podcast feed.
I do have to say that from your initial post, the leak of you recording, and then the announcement, the outpouring of positivity about the show coming back was just outstanding.
And I have to tell you, I did a lot of soul searching about that. Like, our podcast still relevant? Is this still relevant? There are a lot of 40K podcasts out there. Josh and I spent a lot of time talking about this. Is it worth doing? And ultimately, I think for us, it's worth doing just because we think it's fun and we want to explore something new. We're taking on the video aspect of this a little bit. I think we're just exploring our creative side a little bit, and this helps with that. And we'll talk a little bit about that in the future. But yeah, I agree with you. But we did a lot of kind of soul searching before really saying, okay, yeah, let's go ahead and give it another go. So let's talk about workbench progress and what we've been working on. I'll go ahead and start because mine's super short. I haven't even bought a lot of stuff. That's why this is going to be super short. But I've been working on my Ash Waste Nomads for Necromunda.
Absolutely.
Very much looking forward to Necromunda. So I'm using what people are labeling the slap chop contrast method. I know that term, and I want to talk a little bit about that too. It's so funny when people post like, oh, it's a slap chop method. And all these old gamers are like, actually, we've been doing this forever and this, that.
Right.
I don't care what you call it. You can call it the slap chop. You can call it I won't call it the Justin because you paint better than
I've slap chopped a bunch of models in my day. I just didn't call it that.
Right.
It's called Zenithal.
But it doesn't
contrast
really,
over Zenithal.
It doesn't really matter what it's called. Does it get painted models on the
Right,
table?
right.
That's all I care about. And for this method in particular, especially for board games, like we've been playing a lot of board games and stuff lately, the models I've painted using that method, great. It's on the table. It's cool. I'm not trying to win a golden demon or even, you know, like I don't know that I want to do a whole army in this method, but for me, a Necromunda gang, yeah. So
Absolutely.
Ash Waste, Nomads, Slap Chop contrast method. I think they're coming out good enough. I'm never going to say great, good enough. And then we've been spending a bunch of time setting up the new recording area for the Astronomicon, trying to make it a little more casual, a little more comfortable.
It's for sure more comfortable.
Good.
But I'm a little dangerously close to you, Carl. I gotta say.
Well,
Is it dangerous?
Too close to the Emperor, man.
it is when these lights are starting to make me warm. I'm going to sweat.
It's okay, man. I came straight from work.
Okay.
Oh.
So-
Justin's armor
So
is
it's not
already
me.
tarnishing.
So it's not me.
It's not you.
His sleeves have already melted.
Aaron,
They're
what
gone.
have you been up to?
So when the League of Votann came out,
Oh, yeah.
so people who have been doing this for a long time know about the squats. I missed them because I started at the beginning of 3rd edition.
Them little squat buggers.
I instantly had to get these because of the squats, because of the space dwarves, because I've always been somebody who's appreciated dwarves in fantasy and, you know, dwarves with guns. What's better than that? So I had to pick up the box set. I convinced myself I was only picking up the box set until I paint those up. But I assembled them quickly, so they're all assembled. I went through and assembled the Orlocks from the Ash Waste set.
Mhm.
I picked up the Ridge Riders or whatever they're called, the little quads that they have. Assembled those. Assembled a bunch of other Necromunda gangs because I can't let that go. Hint, hint, Josh.
Yeah. Oh, it's coming. Believe me.
So I've been doing a lot of random,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
40K heavy stuff. I mean, the Votan's 40K, but the plans going forward, which I threw in here, and I know I'm going out of order.
Yeah, you're
You're
screwing
skip-
it
you're
up.
skipping ahead.
That's
Aaron.
much
Come on, man.
later.
Nope,
Hold your
I'm
thoughts
okay.
there.
I'm good. So the big thing is I haven't done a lot of painting.
Okay.
Like my Necrons or anything, I haven't gotten.
Yeah, I haven't
paint
done
on
a lot of
models,
painting
really.
either. I forgot to mention, I did pay Austin to paint some additional Adeptus Titanicus models because I had an urgent need for those.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Justin, what have you been painting? I've seen some activity lately.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of went into a dark little rabbit hole last couple of years, but for the most part, it's been mostly Warcry type stuff, AOS type stuff. Got big time into the Hedonites because those models are just so much fun. But
Warcry, though.
yeah,
Interesting.
yep,
I'm hearing such good things about that game.
Really.
it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Super random, fun, simple beer and pretzel game, though. Don't take it too seriously and have a great time.
Some of the cards you draw, you're like, you want to pull another card?
Yeah.
Sure, you know, but yeah, a lot of Warcry. But I managed to paint a small Slaneshi demon force for the GW display cabinets for the tournament circuit.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
And just got it back the other day. It survived with, you know, a little breakage here and there. I mean, those models they're so fragile. I knew the second I shipped it out, I'm like, I didn't even expect to see them again.
Slanish especially.
Yeah, dude. So, but they came back and it's not too bad. So that was cool. And it got to travel all over the U.S., which is fun.
That's awesome.
And I did manage, which I don't think I've posted a single photo of these guys, but I painted up the new Void Scarred Eldar Corsairs.
Oh,
I just
yeah.
have to do the bases for them and little detail work here
I
and
have
there.
been busy lately.
Lately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you going for kill team specifically, or you see that rolling into a larger force?
Honestly, that was the first unit that I painted after a long hiatus of just like nothing.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to buy this one box of models and just, if I get an inkling to paint here and there, I'd put like 30 minutes in here, 15 minutes here, an hour, 4 hours here. It was just like, there was no like
Rhyme or reason
deadline,
to it. Yeah,
rhyme or
yeah,
reason. It was like, there they are. I'm going to take my time on them. And they're coming out, pretty cool. So I'll post some pictures soon. I hope to finish them.
Nice.
And for me, classes are coming back. It's like everything's returning to normal.
All at the same time.
All at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so talking with Herrick Games and CK Studios about teaching a class which is going to be very outside of my wheelhouse with that new Sinessa, the Dexessa demon print model, the Slanesh crazy peacock demon.
Yeah.
So I've been spending a lot of time the last few weeks on her, and she's almost done.
I saw you're doing a class up at Herrick Games next month? June? July?
So it's funny you asked that, because initially I was like, okay, I want to do a 1-day class just to kind of dip my toes back into teaching.
Yeah.
But as I'm sitting there painting this model, I'm like, this is going to be a long day of painting to get this thing remotely done.
Yeah.
Like, I think I could do it, but I think it would be a lot better for the students and my mental health to spread it out amongst 2 days.
Interesting.
And get better results and learn way more techniques, which is fun to actually work on the model before teaching it, obviously, right? And learn the ins and outs.
Oh, that's smart. Yeah.
Really looking forward to that class. It's going to be July to August-ish in Santa Cruz area. So
okay, very cool.
Nice. And there'll be promotions for it coming out, and would love. It's a small venue though, so if you want to come and paint with us, just be aware.
It's an intimate venue.
It's an intimate venue.
Yeah,
definitely no 6 feet apart.
No,
no.
But I love that store though.
Yeah,
that's a great
such
store.
a great store.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super cool. And then other than that, I built that new AOS dragon that came out.
Nice.
As a birthday gift for a friend.
Nice.
So yeah, that model's really cool, man.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Yeah.
And
I love dragons.
It's so good. I wish I had a few more options. Like there's 2 builds, but this is a 40K show, so let's move on.
Okay. Well, that's fine. That's fine. There's no Lords and Heroes show going on.
That's true.
So I'll let you dip in a little. What about you, Josh?
So the big thing for me is I started dipping my toes into Aeronautica, which
did you?
Specifically the Heresy version, which is Age of Darkness. And the big reason that tipped me into that is the scale. So 8mm scale ties in with Titanicus. I got the planes because I was like, I can tie these in for narrative missions with Titanicus. Mm-hmm. The models are awesome. The game's fun. So I've only played a handful of games so far. I'm still in the process of painting. I've painted probably half my force so far. I'm going Thousand Suns, which are naturally the allies of Legio's Estobiax, which were based on Prospero. So I've got that whole little 8mm heresy thing going, and having a great time with that. It's a really fun scale to paint.
Interesting. You're going to have to convince me of that one because I've played, I think, 3 games of it. And of the 3 games I played, like I vastly preferred the original Forge World.
Have you played any of the missions, or you've just done like a dogfight?
To be fair, I think it was just a dogfight.
Yeah, I think that makes
a
typical
difference
of most people, but the missions actually have.
I'll give it another try if you run me through it.
Absolutely,
but
it's the same rule set though as the 40K. Like
you said, you were focusing on the Horus Heresy aspect of it.
So it's the same core rule set, but it's Legion specific. So each Legion actually gets
and the scale is different.
Legion rule. Oh, it's the same as Aeronautica. So Aeronautica across the board is 8mm.
Cool.
There's 2 rule books. One is the core rule book, which has everything. It's got Tau in there. It's got Eldar.
I did not know this.
Imperial Army. But there is an Age of Darkness specific rule book, which is Custodes, Imperial, Navy, and Astartes, and that's it.
Huh.
Interesting.
So pick that up. Brian's painted up all his stuff. I played a couple games at Herrick. There's actually a handful of people that are super into it there, so played some fun games there, and looking forward to continuing going with that scale. In addition to that, I've also been painting more Titans to continue that theme. I've got 4 more Titans that are work in progress right now, and I just yesterday got a bunch of stuff from Forge World that showed up for more of the weapon options with conversion beamers and.
I don't know if you know this,
Graviton.
but Joshua really likes Adeptus Titanicus.
I've heard.
Yeah,
it's okay.
Yeah,
it's
okay. Aight.
I mean, I love it. But, it's been a lot of fun. I love that scale again. And also just it scratches all that skirmish game itch, which I've always had such an affinity for.
Yeah.
In addition to that, I'm painting up a couple more Delok models. I've got 25 of them or so already painted. I've got like a sizable gang. I've got 4 gangs for Necromunda going. But the 2 models I'm working on are the Pyskian Spectre and the Nocgul, which specifically bring that into the new House of Shadows kind of gang format, because it's a very different gang from how the gangs of the Underhive gang was made. They really changed the flavor of how that gang plays. So,
interesting.
So now I've got options to go either way, but looking forward to embracing some of the new stuff in there. I've been updating the Sharkadons into the Primaris contingents, largely because of Kill Team, but also boarding action, and now 10th edition coming out. It's actually finally kind of...
So all those leaks have just been...
finally lit the fire in me that I've been needing to get that Primaris contingent going, because all the small Marines, like, they need to be rebased. I have no idea. Everything that I've seen so far and like keywords for 10th edition, there's no like Primaris keyword on there. It's just, there's just Marines. So they're either there or they're totally
I think
gone.
that's
writing on the wall.
yeah. Well, I mean, this was originally a 10-year plan, was what I had heard when I was talking to them. Back when I was talking to them, it was originally a 10-year plan to phase out the old Marines. And the whole point of that is, they didn't want to just cut people off at the knees and be like, your Marines are now worthless. But they figure we have to advance the line, and 10 years is quite a long time to spread it out over. I think that's fairly reasonable. So, that's probably why you're not seeing it.
And nobody's saying you can't use them, right?
Well, now that Primaris can fit in Land Raiders and drop pods, like if ever there was a writing on the wall.
I mean, we'll get to 10th edition conversation, I'm sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if that becomes a Legends thing now.
Yeah.
Because even the new models that are previewed are Sternguard, which were small Marines, and they are Primaris size now. So.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I've been going recently is, this is just at the purchase stage, but Middle Earth strategy battle games. Like
me too.
Yeah,
You're getting into that, huh?
It was the Rings of Power thing that drew me.
I've always been a Lord of the Rings fan, as I'm sure most listeners have been, right? But watching how the game actually plays, like, I played it when it came out 20 years ago, and it was just a starter box game. It's like, it doesn't really do it for me. But seeing how heroes interact with, and at the end of the day, it is a skirmish game that has some cool heroes that really shine, and it brings the whole world to life so well with some really neat mechanics that I think it's got a really nice modern game design to it that is flavorful, the right scale, and
what do you go in there?
So working on two at the same time.
I'm doing Mordor. So.
Ingmar is the first one that's going, which is Witch King and his crony specifically, but then also Halls of Thranduil, which are the Mirkwood elves.
Yeah. Yep. Nice.
I've still got Warg Riders and Haldir's elves, so
nice.
ready when you're ready.
Jody's got Rohan.
Trying to avoid everything about this as long as possible.
Anyway, moving back
to just one more system. Yeah.
I will dive in so hard. Anyway, keep going.
Welcome to our new Lord of the Rings fantasy battle game.
So BattleTech.
It's been 2 years. We gotta cover the basics.
We got some stuff.
Yeah,
well, this is stuff we've been going on, right? So, right. All right. Games played. Let's move into games played here, because we actually have played some games. You didn't go. You dropped out, and you didn't go.
I did not go.
But Josh and I were at Adepticon with Jody, who else went? There's a bunch of us were there.
Campos and
Jody,
Cheyenne.
Aaliyah, Sky, Campos, Cheyenne.
Yeah. Shell went.
Yeah.
Aaliyah went.
Yep.
It looked like you guys had a terrible time, by the way.
It was awful.
Yeah.
And so first off, shout out to the Basement of Death guys.
Absolutely.
Again.
Yep.
These are the guys that run every year. We talk about Space Hulk, the large 3D Space Hulk game we play, and this was no exception. Unfortunately, as people know who tried to register, there was an outage with the registration system. Now, this was not specific to Adepticon. It was an outage with that company system that happened to coincide right when Adepticon registration opened, and it caused some problems. And it caused me problems being able to register for things that I wanted.
Absolutely.
And that's, it happens, right? Aaron and I live in a world where this kind of thing, we work in that world.
Yep.
Wait, I work in technology too. It doesn't work correctly every time.
100% of the time, it doesn't work every time.
So you're saying there's a chance.
There's a chance.
So we didn't get into it. And this is the one event that we always really want to play, even if we can't play together. So I reached out to the guys we've become friends over the years. And I talked them into running us just a session. We figured out a time that would work for them. We plied them with drinks and pizza.
Deep dish pizza.
And we helped clean up afterwards very quickly. I think they'd never seen a cleanup go so fast. But man, thank you guys so much for hosting that for us.
That's cool.
And the interesting thing is, the first time Shell went to Adepticon, which was last year, she played in that with me. Like she showed up as that was going on, and we just kind of worked together as we were playing through it. This time, she was going to play on her own, and then at the last minute, to allow one of our other friends to play, she had said, "Do you think they'll let me play as the Tyranids?" And again, this isn't like, it's not like a super competitive version of Space Hulk. When you play normal Space Hulk, the people who play the Marine, the way you're supposed to play is you play the Marines, other player plays the Tyranids. You are both trying to win.
Yeah, and then you swap.
You swap because the Tyranids are way on the advantage. These guys run this game in a somewhat narrative way too. They'll help you out a little bit explaining, oh, maybe that's not a good decision. Maybe you should think about this. They're not just trying to beat your face. And mind you, they will wipe you out. I think you or Jody.
No, it was me.
It was you. You got wiped out entirely.
Yep.
I lost all but like 2 of my guys by the time we got to the end.
So you're all controlling a whole squad?
Each of us gets a squad.
That's cool.
Guys, yeah.
And there's 6 squads?
There's six
squads.
It's
And for
freaking
once, I didn't
blast.
play the Ultramarines because I knew the chaplain is a beast. He runs in there, he slaughters everything. And I ended up getting the Inquisitor and some regular Marines with the Inquisitor and like a couple
That's what I
Terminators.
played last year.
And I saw what happened to you last year, and I've seen what happens to other people is you start at the top level and you never get off the top level. You get stuck up there.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I know that happens if you don't haul ass to the elevator. So I just ran for it full force. And I got down there and was...
That's what I tried to do.
And then I made a huge mistake and got a bunch of them got slaughtered. So we got to play that.
That was an amazing experience.
It's so good. And this was your first Adepticon.
This was my first Adepticon. Yeah.
Nice.
And so we'll talk about that on your thing. But I was really glad you got to play in that event because that's one we've talked so much about. The other thing that you roped me into was Adeptus Titanicus.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah. And you were playing a series of multiple days events. When I showed up, this was a very narrative event, but you were still competing against the people across the table from you. But the crazy thing was they had the coolest campaign system set up, kind of taking the old Planetary Empires tiles, but they had printed out 3D ones that were much bigger. I'd say like 4 times larger.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they were, as you just said, intermixing it with the guys playing Aeronautica.
Yep.
So depending on where you were fighting,
That's cool.
you had Aeronautica people contributing to the campaign, and you had Adeptus Titanicus people contributing to the campaign.
That's really cool.
So I'm going to let you talk a little bit next, Josh, about your first day at Adeptus Titanicus. If you can just talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess I'll just reinforce the campaign system a little bit. It was a area control map campaign where they tied in 2 days of Aeronautica and then Titanicus. Each area of the map was region specific, so there was a terrain type.
Yeah.
With corresponding tables. So there's 20, 25 tables worth of terrain in there. And like, oh, you're fighting the wasteland. Like, go pick a wasteland table. You're fighting in a city. You're in a hive. Go grab the city table, which was just amazing. You're in a forge vein.
And that terrain was great.
It was all amazing, like super well painted.
And destructible.
And destructible, yeah. The destructible terrain rules are absolutely a blast, literally and figuratively. Definitely recommend playing with those ones. So for day one for me was three great games and played 3 really fun opponents, had great games. So much terrain was destroyed. I got to play with AJ, who was all the way out there from Minnesota. We hadn't been able to play
so good to see him
since he moved away. Yep. So it was really good to get.
That was something else that happened. AJ moved back to Minnesota.
Right. Yeah, spoiler alert.
Yeah, loser.
Yeah,
we miss him.
So anyway, we just had an amazing day of games. Ended up winning all 3 of those and contributing to the narrative. Quite a bit of points because the way the campaign system work is if you win a territory, you stay on the map and then somebody gets to come and challenge you. And if you are challenged and you defend it, you get extra points. If you lose it, then you get to redeploy somewhere else in the next kind of game phase. And we did 3 rounds that day. Just a really cool integration of the system and the narrative scenarios too. They
were really good. The sinking.
I'll give you one example of that is one of my games. Day 1 was a planet that had deep mud, and if you don't move for a turn, you get a mud token. If you don't move a second turn, you sink in the mud.
Sure, just sinking down. Yeah.
So me being a nefarious, traitorous player, I immobilized 2 Warhound Titans and then walked
leave
away
them.
from them
Yeah.
and just watched them sink
Smart.
in my rear view mirror, which was like, I had my little Mr. Burns. Excellent.
I didn't know Titans had rearview mirrors.
Yeah.
And side mirrors too.
Only the chaos ones.
It's Xenotech.
Mirrors.
Yeah.
Side view eyes.
Anyways, it just had an absolute blast. It was a really well-run event.
How did you do?
I did well. I won. I did win all 3 of my games.
There you go.
That game.
Yeah.
That day. Yeah.
So then the next day.
Next day we played doubles.
Yeah, and this was what you sucked me into. It was team event that day. So it was 2 players per side. And we played 2 games. And that's why I agreed to it, because it was 2 games over the whole day. Like
That's achievable for
our games took a while though. Team games tend to take a lot longer.
It's a larger game. It's a larger scale game because we're playing at 2,500 points, which can take a while. But then when you have 4 people trying to figure out tactics and strategies and things like that across the table, it
And I don't remember the names of the people we played. I feel bad for not jotting them down, but we at the time I didn't know I was going to do a podcast again.
Right, yeah.
I was still thinking about it at that moment. But the first couple we played was a guy and a gal, and her Titans looked awesome.
Yeah.
And she had made trees on the basis of her Titans using the
Dryad arms.
the Dryad arms from Age of Sigmar.
Yeah.
And then putting
little
like
foliage,
foliage
on
on them,
Yeah.
and they looked fantastic. Yeah. They looked fantastic.
Her paint job was pretty top notch across the board too. But that was a really nice touch.
That game, we wiped her off the table. He had a few units left, but points wise, we won. But it was somewhat close.
Yeah, the way I'm trying to remember the specifics, but it's like
But what's interesting is I just felt like we were really obliterating them, but the points were pretty close.
on as far as the battle was going model wise, we were definitely on the dominant side there.
Yeah.
But at points, I think it came down to like I think we tied on the primaries and we tied on the tertiaries, and it was like a small difference in the secondaries that actually.
So it was very close.
Clinched the victory.
Then the second game we played was against 2 other guys. Now, somebody you knew.
Yeah, Ivan is a local guy, and John was his friend they were playing. They're both out of San Jose area.
Yeah, Ivan's an engineer. I think he works at Google.
Yeah, I think they both are.
Playing engineers in a game that involves so much mathematics is daunting.
It was a really tight game.
They knew how to maximize their efforts, and it seemed like a tight game. And in this game, the terrain being destructible made a huge difference.
Yeah.
By the end of the game, there was nothing left on it. Like, people came over, they're like, "Aren't you guys playing with terrain?" We're like, "Oh no, we were. The table was full. It is now all gone."
Yeah.
Wow.
And but that game, by the end, when we totaled the points, we had pretty dominantly defeated them.
That was really close too. If you remember, like the turn 5 run that ended up, they were able to grab some points and denied us some points, and it was such a chess match of a game. Like there was so much tight back and forth. It was a really rewarding game to play.
But when you got to the bottom line, it was like, oh, we were ahead by a lot more than I realized.
Right. Yeah.
Which surprised me
because we were able to deny them their primary objective.
Oh, it was brutal.
Yep.
It was brutal. So you basically played 5 games over the course of 2 days, won every game. At the end, you walked away with what?
I did. Got one of those prized Adepticon medals.
Yeah, you did.
Which was best trader player.
Well done.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
And part of that, I think, was our combined sportsmanship from the event also.
Yeah. As usual.
Yeah.
Best sportsman.
Yeah.
We combined one best sportsman.
I was doing the 4D math here, like doing all these equations in my head, and Carl's just shaking hands and kissing babies and having a great time. So it was a great day of gaming, and
yeah. When I get those backwards, it really screws things up. Shake the babies and kiss the hands. But and so next thing I knew, Josh had messaged me, and he's like, "Oh, we won best sportsman," and we won like a
so much stuff.
Age of Sigmar,
giant Dominion box.
The Dominion box, and I'm like, I've got one of these in my garage.
A set of terrain.
You can't give these things.
There was a third thing too. There was like 3 large boxes.
Yeah,
and I
we gave most of it away.
I didn't take a suitcase, so I.
Yeah, that's the hard part.
Oh,
going there,
man.
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna
winning all those
away,
prizes.
so.
You know, it's just
Dude, you would not believe how big the VIG bag was. Like, it was not only did you get a massive bag stuffed full, you then got a box and all these things were in this box. It was insane.
There was people rolling them away on trolleys. Like there was that much stuff. It was
So anyway, it was a great. I'm really glad we played that together. I had such a good time. What else did you play? I didn't mean to interrupt, but I think that kind of flowed a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So in addition to those now 5 games, I played one more game with Loopy, which I called him out in 2019 to play in 2020 Adepticon, which ended up getting canceled due to COVID. So anyways, this game was 4 years in the making, 3 years in the making. Had called him out on that one, and we talked to the event organizers, and they actually counted our game in their narrative event as well.
Oh, that's cool.
Had a great game with Loopy. Ended up winning that one too. So it was 6-0 for the overall campaign. It was just super fun to play with him.
You know, the other interesting thing was not only did we learn that we were doing some rules wrong.
Yeah.
Our opponents learned some rules they were doing wrong as well. Like it was, and things we've been doing wrong for years.
Yeah, literally since day one, had been doing scale and terrain
they
wrong,
they weren't hugely.
I was going to say,
but it
probably
was
minor, but still.
Yeah. But it was great
one rule
to
that I'd
like
been playing wrong for 5 years.
Yeah.
Which was oh wow, okay, cool. And then there was a couple things that they picked.
They
up on
walked
that.
away from too.
Playing with Loopy too, he's like, oh man, they'd been doing several things wrong in their group that he's.
I think that's important. Once you break out of your own group, like, and you start engaging with others.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Different perspective. Absolutely.
Yep. So in addition, I played 6 games of Adeptus Titanicus at Adepticon, and then played 2 games of boarding action, the new 500-point spaceship combat boarding action with Cheyenne, which were 2 fantastic games. I was pretty rusty on 40K at that point, so I had to kind of like relearn the core rules of 40K real quick, but it was just so much simpler playing it. There's 3 stratagems, 500 points, go. Really, really fun game mechanics. I really like how they play out. We played 2 games, just re-racked the same scenario, tied the first game, I think, and then ended up winning the second game. And I was playing Sharkadons. I just grabbed what was ready to go, which ended up being all Terminator Force. So I had 11 Terminators, and he was playing Harlequins, which was a crazy game.
Yeah.
Which,
Very cool.
Super fun. Really enjoyed that. Definitely looking forward to playing more boarding action. And then, aside from that, I played in the Space Hulk game, which you covered there with the Basement of Death, and had a great time. Even though I got wiped out, I also tried to just rush the second elevator as fast as
I think
possible.
that's the only thing you can do from the second level.
I misunderstood or misremembered the lurking rules on Gene Stealer, so you can sit there. So that's what ended up getting me tabled on that one. But it was super fun. And after
Shell
that,
would get super excited when she would kill a Marine.
her first 3 kills, I think, were all me. So she was having a great time.
That's awesome.
Well, and the reason she also, I didn't mention, but the reason she wanted to run as the Tyrannid is because she wants to run an event like that at a local tournament here, or local event. So we're talking about how to get that material together to do that. But she's like hell bent on running it, which is,
That's cool.
I'm not going to disabuse her of that. So,
Yeah.
All right. Aaron.
Well, I think the biggest thing I have, I mean, we'll talk about the non-40K stuff later, but Carl and I were like, oh, we really want to get a game of 40K in. And I'm like, but the rumors are 10th edition's coming.
This
and
was
then,
before they announced.
like, the next week, hey, 10th edition's coming. I'm like, yeah, I'm not playing anything until 10th edition. I don't want to learn a rule set just to forget it and learn another rule set. I still have 3rd edition bouncing around in my head. Thank you, no.
Also, a rule set that you haven't played in quite a while because of reasons.
I played very little 9th edition, and we should talk about that. Like, I'm actually kind of disappointed they've really gone the way they went in 7th edition again in 9th edition. Like, the game system to bring somebody in new right now is so complex.
Insurmountable.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it. So I'm actually very excited about the direction they're heading with 10th. It feels like 8th all over again.
Yeah, couldn't agree more.
Yeah. And I think that's the key, right? Is like it's another, everything's gone, start
reset.
over fresh, so that it's easy to get people in. It's easy to refresh, especially after the pandemic. It'll be great to refresh and start again.
Yep.
And we will talk about this a lot, I'm sure.
Justin.
That actually ties in pretty well with my lack of games played, because the few games that I did play was with my friend John, and we played small, like maybe 1,000-point games, maybe 1,500 points against his Necrons, and he just felt overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And I even tried to like simplify it and kind of like
Bring it down a little bit.
but it was still kind of like, Okay. Can we play more Warcry?
I think, I think that's fun. It's path of least resistance, right? Yep. Like if this feels insurmountable, well, let me go to something I'm enjoying quickly and I can do easily.
And the great thing is that you're not straying away from GW. Sometimes you don't even have to stray away from 40K or that universe, that lore, right? Because you could do Kill Team, you could do a bunch of different things, Titanicus, like, and stay in that same lore, that same universe.
Yeah. Sure. Right. But yeah, for me, it was just a lot of Warcry mostly, just because I didn't really have like the mental capacity and to at that point in my life to play many 40K games.
It is a mental slog as well. Yeah. Right? You're computing a lot of different things. Alan Bly used to talk about this actually with me, that there's only so many choices you can make for it to still be enjoyable and moving quickly. And I think they've kind of exceeded that and they need to step back.
All the stratagems on there too. There's so many things to remember and how they trigger and when they trigger and what interactions they trigger. And I've got 25 of them, but half of them I can never use because I
would literally go through my deck and I'd pull out 4 or 5 and I'd be like, these are the 5.
Yeah.
Same. I can't do
Not to mention like the 2 or 3 books you need to play your army and
I get it.
So we're all there. That's why 10th is happening, I assume.
And that's why we're so excited about it.
That's why we're here.
Well, listen, what we're going to do is we're going to take a short break. Then we're going to come back. We're going to talk about our main topic, which is what has been going on in our life and gaming. And then we will move on from there. All right.
Sounds good.
We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Independent Characters as we are going to kind of go into what we've been up to. I figure this is probably a pretty good reintroduction episode where we're like, what has been going on? Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. So why don't I go ahead and start? I could kind of set the grim tone and then you win. And then,
I do.
And then we'll go from there. So one of the reasons I stopped the show to begin with was work. Yeah. I had been promoted to VP at my job, which is great. Pays good. I'm not complaining about any of that. It's good work if you can get it. I'd throw that out there. However, it did take up more and more of my time to be focused on what was going on and the role. I was over IT. I'm not typically an IT professional. I didn't come through that ground. I came from support, whatever. This doesn't mean anything to most of you. Okay. Anyway, the point was there was a big learning curve, and that was taking up a lot of my time to be successful at. The issue has become, though, and one of the reasons I restarted the show is that I got kind of out of balance with not just my work, personal life, but also the creative side of myself. And that's kind of my outlet. And I was working so much, I was getting stressed out about it, that kind of thing. So I've actually taken a bit of a step back there, and hence the show starting again.
Here we are.
Have to balance out life is the lesson I learned from this piece. You have to do what's right for you. We've said often before when we talk about commission painting, I've often said the only resource you can't get any more of is time.
Yep.
That has become more evident to me, especially in the last month. We'll talk about that at the end of my segment here, than ever before. And so for me, stepping back, getting into the creative aspect of stuff, Josh and I kind of at the right time were like, we want to explore something new, hence the video aspect of that. So what have I been doing? I've been working a lot. Ugh, it sucks. My kid is up at University of Washington again, so I'm super excited about that. They had kind of stepped away from that initially, did some junior college instead. They just weren't quite ready. Fortunately, they could go back anytime they wanted as long as they didn't go to another 4-year college. They headed back up to University of Washington. They're absolutely loving it now. Cool. It's the right time, right hit. They've got a year left.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah. So they're like, what are you going to do after that? I don't know. Start thinking about it.
Gonna do life.
Start thinking about it. But
doors locked.
They can come home. Nah, never. The other thing I've gotten into over the last 2 years, and which is something I've resisted, and God, Jeff is gonna just loathe me for saying this, is board gaming. I am not the biggest board gamer. At least I didn't think I was. I'm still not. There's still like limitations to what I am interested in.
See, that's funny to me because you have so many board games.
Well,
So many.
Yes, but he's comparing himself to me.
yeah,
And that's the problem.
Aaron has an insane amount. But there are definitely board games like I will not play. Like Doug, Ed, Blake, those guys like, we want to play Feast of Odin. I'm like, I would rather pluck my eyeballs out than play Feast of Odin. Like that is a game that I look at and I'm just like, that does
Super fun
not
too.
No. Well, good. You can enjoy that. I have a very limited palette for board games. However, Shell started getting interested in board games. Never dissuade
No.
your spouse.
You encourage.
Yeah.
Encourage
Oh,
that
you want to
interest.
do that? So we started getting into, and it was a game Aaron had brought initially, Shadows of Brimstone, which Aaron had kind of backed the Kickstarter, and we played it. I was like, yeah, this is okay. Once you really get into it, it is pretty good. And it took Matt Weeks from Adepticon. I was like, what do you like about this game? And he started explaining more and more of it to me. I was like, okay, let's try it. So I'd ordered stuff, and Shell got super into it.
Yeah. So once again, I want to say thank you, Matt, because it's awesome.
Yeah. And you've
Kinda
kind of
like
played with us.
How
but
Matt
Shell
did
loves it.
the role playing game Cthulhu with me. I'm like, okay, I get role
now you
playing
get, now you get why.
okay.
Nice,
I'll
yeah.
talk about that in a minute too. So, Black Rose Wars is a game. I just listed a couple games that Shell has really enjoyed. Shadows of Brimstone, Black Rose Wars is a game we've really begun to enjoy until we played Josh, and Josh just creamed both of us. He really gets games quickly.
Never played it before. Oh,
Just
okay, I know
literally.
how
Oh, this is how it works. I'm gonna
Got
win.
it.
But Shell and I have also gotten very much into Arkham Horror, the living card game. Like, not only do we love it, make sure the door's closed. That game has caused more arguments in our marriage. Any other game. And some of it was my fault. Like, just, I have to check my tone a little bit on some things. But we do love that game very much. We play it, like we have a massive collection for it.
It's like a little therapy session card game.
I have to be very careful during it. Let me just say. That's fair. We did over this period of time, we've done multiple Formula One trips. And in fact, last year, like our buddy Doug got us heavily into Formula One with a group of friends that do Formula One. They have like a little club, I put in quotes, it's mostly just gathering around, drinking beer and watching racing. But Formula One has become something that we very, very much enjoy. In fact, there's a race in Miami this weekend. But last year we did 4 different Formula One races in person.
Yeah, you guys were all about it. That was cool.
We
to
did
see.
Miami, the first year at Miami. We did Austin. We did Austria at the Red Bull Ring. And we did Silverstone in the UK. Back-to-back Silverstone, Austria. Fantastic trip. Came back with COVID from Austria. So, it is what it is. Went to Adepticon, gone to Adepticon each year that it's been available. When Adepticon got closed, that broke my heart. It was, I tell people that I like that Adepticon is my Christmas. I'd rather they cancel Christmas than cancel Adepticon.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then they canceled Christmas too. So anyway, been going back to Adepticon. Absolutely loved it. Played very few games of Warhammer 9th edition. And some of that, like the pandemic kind of broke our mojo for we were playing a lot. Everybody else had a lot going on. Some of us were more concerned about it than others and concerned about what circles of friends we were going to partake with.
Yeah.
Fair enough. And that kind of killed it for the group for a bit. And then by the time we were wanting to do it, so complex and like path of least resistance. You know what? Let's just play Warcry instead. Let's play a board game instead.
The releases never halted for it, but you had to relearn it, plus all this new stuff that had been added on top of it while we'd all been taking that break.
It makes one think, though, if it hadn't been for the pandemic, would we have, you know what I mean, embraced it more?
I think we would have.
Yeah.
I personally think we would have, but I would have done less of other things. And one thing I got to do was I ran a Call of Cthulhu role-playing game campaign over the pandemic. Josh took part in it.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Jody took part in it. AJ started, but then dropped. But then Travis came and took over, and Doug played in it. And this campaigin took us over a year to play through.
Wow.
Horror on the Orient Express, which is
Huge
one of the 2
campaign.
like, I don't know what the word is. Like one of the 2 world-renowned campaigns for that system.
It's like a milestone achievement.
It's a milestone. Yeah, that's a way of putting it. And we completed it, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome to just run through that whole thing. So, yeah, we played like a lot of Call of Cthulhu every week online over Zoom. And it was fun because, like, Doug got us into this. Like, we'd start wearing costumes and, like, goofing off. And Travis would wear costumes.
A lot of accents.
It was so funny.
Costumes.
It was like Doug would wear, like, fake mustaches and stuff. And it was absolutely awesome. I think, didn't Travis's character lose an eye and he'd start wearing an eye patch?
It's so good.
It was great. It was absolutely great.
Several of us
all over
lost
Zoom,
characters along that time too. So like as our accent would change, it was like, oh, now I'm the English guy. Now I'm Scottish. Now I'm from
Germany. Yeah.
Michigan or what. Yeah.
So we did that. I've been trying to keep up on Siege of Terra and keep up on those purchases of buying the special edition books. Jeez, they do not make that easy.
Yeah.
They sell out so fast. You have to be like Johnny on the spot, ready to buy them. I got to thank, he goes by on Facebook, Ian Lobotomy. He's a member of our Facebook group. He has acquired at least 2 of those books for me when I have missed out on getting them. And I super appreciate his help in getting those, and I can't thank him enough. In fact, I was going to send him a Icy's t-shirt. We were just talking about those earlier. I go, what size do you wear? Please be 2XL.
Extra huge.
Nope, not large. We don't have any large. Okay, I'll figure something else
Medium.
out. So I owe him.
Put it in the dryer.
I owe him a thank you gift. We spent some time prepping for the show, the new layout, new plans. We've scheduled shows all the way out through January. And yeah, so we've been doing all that. And then about 3 weeks ago, one of the members of our group, Doug, tragic accident while riding one of those electric Razor scooters, hit his head and passed. His wife, we've been helping her out. My wife has been staying over there helping her out. He has 2 7-year-old daughters. It's just super tragic and breaks my heart.
Yeah. That was a really hard phone call to take, man.
Yeah. Sorry I had to make it, you know?
Yeah.
So we've lost Doug, and peace and love, man.
Peace and love, bro.
I'm breaking up just thinking about it. So
I thought about buying a bottle of Balvenie Scotch that we could just sit here and just swig off for him.
I mean, tomorrow's his memorial, so it's been a brutal week.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Doug's gone. We'll move on, but sorry, I'm kind of getting torn up about it. But
I mean,
what a great guy.
So many good times with that dude.
I've never been hit as hard as anything in my
Right?
life with that call I had with you, and I'm gonna get emotional about it too. But
I've only had 2 friends ever die. One of them, Alan Bly, who, while I was close with, I wasn't as close as I was with Doug, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm just going to take the best things I learned from him and try to apply those. Yeah. Okay.
Live life to the fullest every day. And that was,
and he did.
That was him.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
So
bringing it back.
Let me move on from that before I just turn into too much of a wreck. If you're watching the video, I'm crying. You can probably hear it. I did get it, and don't touch me. I'm gonna cry even more, Justin. It has made me appreciate you guys more than ever. Right? When you came in tonight, I gave you a hug. Like, I'm super happy you're here. Like, I love you guys. I'm glad you're my friends.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
We got to take that to the fullest. Okay, I did get Don cannot be on the show. And I asked him, can you provide me an update so I can just give everybody an update, let them know what's going on. Let me just run through this real quick. Much has happened since the show closed in May of 2021. Here's the highlights. Okay. Don now works at the Warhammer store and cafe in Los Angeles. It opened in June of 2021. He was doing Lords and Heroes with you at the time. He did some live stream coverage of the opening of that. The store's in Los Angeles County in the town of Monrovia.
Let's just take a minute to think about a Don with the Games Workshop discount.
That's probably dangerous.
Okay, yeah.
Well, that's why he's not actually collecting a salary. He's just collecting
it's
bottles.
going back
Well,
into
no,
that
he's
shop.
probably earning extra money reorganizing their shelves every time. Sorry, Adon, I had to say it.
He's trading his time for product in retirement.
Wait, hold on. Did you dry fit that?
No, 2 times.
Twice.
He's like the 2 times dry fit, like Duncan
Master.
was the 2 thin coats.
Exactly.
Yes.
All right. So he accepted a job as a part-time sales assistant at the cafe there. which he is really, really enjoying. He did the final episode of Lords and Heroes in October. He is no longer able to podcast about the hobby. And this is a policy that Games Workshop has. And he says he totally understands and agrees with the policy, yada, yada. He doesn't think it's something negative. He's just, and he says here, if you search Warhammer in your podcast app, you see the depth and breadth of the content they would have to monitor if they didn't have this policy. So it eliminates any hints of inappropriate leaks coming from, and they are very adamant about that. Yeah. Okay. He went to LVO in 2022, cosplayed as an Inquisitor, which he says was well received. Cool. In November of 2022, he went to the New Mexico narrative that GW did and took the Warhound Titan class with Caleb and Kat. He said that was super fun.
Yeah.
Todd did that as well. And then Caleb did the final details on that. We raffled that off for the Table War Charities.
Awesome.
Can't imagine teaching a class on that model.
Oof.
So, yeah.
So for 2023, he has a monthly playlist after realizing he has enough armies to play different faction every month. Okay. I haven't been able to get enough games of Age of Sigmar in to keep up that side of the spreadsheet. May is Primaris Marines. His custom chapter is now the Yellow Jackets.
I did see he was changing over
Okay.
paint scheme to
From whatever.
From Griffins of Justice.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't keep up with it all.
It's a lot.
The Mordian army is done. He's received 40 metal Karskins and 30 old school plastic beret veterans. And then he says on a personal note, he spends his weekdays babysitting his granddaughter. She's the reason he moved from Arizona to Southern California. He works about 20 hours a week at the cafe and he loves it. He's helping people learn about and progress in the hobby, and he says it's kind of his dream job, so he's really enjoying it. Yeah. So he says he's having terrible fear missing out for not being able to participate in the return of the independent characters, and he says he looks forward to the return almost as much as he looks forward to the return of Universal Special Rules.
Apparently, that's a thing.
Fair enough.
Had to jab that one in there, huh, Don?
Fair enough.
And I just got to throw in too, man. Your birthday party you had recently was just so cool, man.
Oh,
it was so cool just to have everybody here, especially with the passing of our friend.
Yeah.
Just being able to talk about it, hug it out, and see all these faces.
In 2020, my birthday's in March, and in 2020, we were supposed to have a huge party where we had like 75, 80
for your
people
30th birthday, right?
Yeah, for my 50th birthday. And obviously that got delayed. Like a week before, we had to cancel everything. So we finally got back together. We scheduled, and we ended up making it Shell's birthday and my birthday kind of combined. We had a bartender. We had a food truck. We had
perfect.
It was awesome.
The food truck was like a brick oven pizza. Oh, it was so good.
Out of a shipping crate.
And we had a live band and everything.
Which were amazing.
Yeah.
And speaking of Doug and Travis, at my 50th, they were working on a song that they were going to play. They were going to wear silver jumpsuits and play this song about me. And I knew something was up. They wouldn't tell me what it was. But unfortunately, Doug passed, couldn't make it to the event. Fortunately, Travis has a copy of the song.
Oh no.
Which when they were practicing and he gave it to me. I will put it after the show credits at the end of the show. And it is
that's awesome.
It is so funny. And you have to get this, that the premise is my complaint about the name Carl is that in every movie or TV show, Carl is either a doofus or he's a bad guy.
Or both.
But he's usually like the comic relief guy that ends up getting killed.
That's pretty accurate.
Yeah. Wait till you hear this song.
The song
Wait till you hear this song.
Awesome. So on the birthday front, I will have to say that was the weirdest party I've been to in a long time. The reason being...
It's all the psychedelics.
Well, there was that.
There was psilocybin in the red wine,
because
bro.
this is one of the big crossovers between my hobby life and my professional life.
Yeah, because I had people from work here. I had people from neighbors here.
So I was explaining all the miniatures and models to my work friends, and it was just surreal.
Did you just say I'm a grown man who paints dolls? That's
a known.
People.
They all know it.
Yeah, it's not like we hide it.
But for them to see it.
But them looking at it and going, okay, well, how do you play this game? And me explaining a little bit about it, and them going, oh, really? Well, what about this? What about, like, they were really interested in knowing why we got so into
You
this
didn't just
hobby.
stop them there and be like, ask me again in a couple months when 10th comes out. It'll be way simpler to explain.
Also, by the time all that was going on, I was 3 sheets to the wind, man. I had so many Mai Tais.
Feeling no pain.
Yeah. Justin, let's go to you next.
Oh, yeah. The last few
How you been,
years
buddy?
have been a little bit interesting for old Keith.
Yeah.
So, hard to talk about on
Yeah.
a radio internet
Well,
show.
listen, man, you
but-
don't have to talk about anything you don't want to.
I know. But so recently separated. Well, not recently, but it's been about a year and a half now. But separated with my wife.
Yeah.
So being the single dad thing has been really interesting. You know,
It's tough.
It's tough, but it's amicable. It wasn't anything crazy, but still crazy, right? When
Still
you're with
is.
somebody
Yeah.
That's a big life change.
Yeah,
for a long time.
Yeah.
You know, so was kind of just that's one of them big.
That kind of
things.
threw you for a while.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
threw me for a long time. I needed to do some kind of self discovery and
Yeah.
that kind of thing. So the hobby was obviously not very important. It was more about just like focusing on my child and work and the
Getting things
gym or whatever else,
Yeah.
just to
Yeah,
kind of.
yeah.
So that it's been taking some getting used to, but getting there day by day,
Yeah.
and you know, meeting new people helps and stuff. And I've got a really cool girlfriend now.
She is cool. She came to the
Yeah,
party.
got to meet her.
Yeah, she was fun.
Just fun.
It was fun. Well, you know, we're always here for you, man. If
I
you
know.
want to
Yeah,
come over,
it's
hang
always
out,
been
play
here for me.
games, we've told you all along.
We got to get the hoodie back.
Stupid hoodie.
God, do I still have that thing?
You still
I
have
still
that.
have that thing.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see how
Once
the new
10th
edition
drops,
goes.
We're all gonna
We're
have
gonna
no idea. What
That's the
we're
only
doing.
chance I have to get it back.
That's the only chance.
You have no idea.
Got to get in early.
Maybe we do like the elite choice thing. You know, like once you've had it for like so long, it's just like you go to a Hall of Heroes.
Time to retire.
Time to retire.
We'll see how it goes.
We'll see how it goes. But so yeah, other than that small little detail in my personal life, which feels weird talking about on the air, started a new job, which was crazy. I left, you know, Magnolia after being there for 16 years.
Wow.
And started with a small little company here local, or not locally, but an hour drive. Commute sucks. But it's like a small family thing, and
Yeah.
which is weird going from this corporate big company.
Yeah.
you
Sure.
know,
That's awesome.
but learning a ton and just doing whatever.
Has it been a good move? Like, have you thought,
Oh
like-
yeah, big time. Just learning so much. Every day is just a learning experience, which is fun. And it's like I said, a family, which you don't really get from working for a big company, right?
Yeah.
Right.
That's fantastic.
So that's been really cool.
It's like
and
Fast and Furious.
Mm.
It's like all about family.
It's all about family.
It's all about family. So
You
yeah,
do kind of a Vin Diesel thing going on with this.
This explains
and
everything.
he also plays Warhammer apparently.
He does play
course he
D&D
does.
too.
Did hear that. Yeah.
And can we just take a side note to talk about Cavill and the Amazon?
Yes.
I mean, that's a big side note from my life,
I
but
want to see it happen.
Yeah.
yeah,
I'll believe it when it happens.
proofs in the pudding.
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just been really last few years for me, like hard, but also introspective. It's allowed me to kind of really kind of put my guts on the table, so to speak, look at them and just kind of like, where do I want to go with my life, with the hobby? And, you know, especially hanging out with you guys the other day.
Yeah.
And seeing everything kind of start back up, and the podcast and the classes, you know,
Yeah.
I'm super excited for the future.
Yeah, me too. I'm glad.
Super
I'm glad
stoked.
you're still around. Like, I was glad when I messaged you. I said, "Hey, you interested in doing it?" You're like, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh, good."
Yeah, for sure. I miss the chats, and
Yeah.
and honestly, I miss being excited about 40K.
Yeah,
You
same
know?
here.
Yeah. Same.
So
Absolutely.
Even Jody's excited about it.
Yeah.
But we'll let him share
That's saying
that.
something.
That is saying something.
Josh, let's go to you next.
Yeah, similar. It's been kind of a roller coaster for a couple of years. Big good thing is I was able to buy a house in Santa Cruz about a year and a half ago, which is
Huge.
huge.
It's a beautiful
life thing.
house
Like,
too.
we're at the point where we're like potentially having to move out of state and everything lined up in just the right way that we're able to permanently call place we've already called home for so long home for hopefully the rest of our lives. So
Oh, that's great.
His backyard, the back fence of his backyard, is up against a state park.
Oh, that's
yeah.
great.
So I got hiking and mountain bike trails right out
Just
of my back
walks out the back door
which
and
is-
then walks
yeah, it's
up.
hard to
It's
go wrong.
beautiful.
We got super lucky. So blessed to be there and couldn't be
that's
happier with
great.
the house. So
that's awesome.
super
man.
stoked on that.
Well, you could once you decide on a paint color.
That's how the
Periwinkle blue.
They have paint samples on
Shark,
the house every
Sharkadon
time we
gray.
go there.
Sharkadon gray.
There you
I
go.
painted enough gray. Yeah, which is interesting. Gray plastic gets painted gray, which is that's its own thing.
That's something.
It's
like painting the dirt to look like dirt.
Yeah, exactly. Painting rocks to look like rocks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. Big news for me is I am now full-time self-employed instead of a corporate photo video guy, which I've been doing for 15 plus years. Now I am fully self-employed, freelance photo video, obviously bringing some video here to the podcast.
It's all about family.
Yeah. So far being self-employed, I've literally never been busier, which is crazy.
He's like, hey, I'm not working anymore. I got a month. I've been busy all month.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
it's been nuts. Part of it, that's definitely just the hustle, adjusting to that, and it will. I think it'll taper off and it'll balance out and slow down a little bit. But I look forward to taking advantage of that, playing more games, painting more models, doing more things in the middle of the day, and having just a more flexible schedule compared to.
We played a lot of board games. We were running like every
played
Thursday night a board game thing,
which has been awesome. Just being able to play a lot of board games. My wife is into board games too, and definitely just not spending kind of energy doing much of anything else socially during the pandemic. Had a lot more just time and energy to focus on board games too. So she and I played a ton of board games. And then I have done a couple of Titanicus events specifically over the last couple of years. Even just I'd say in the last 6 months, I've done 3. Adepticon being one of them. I actually hosted a little de-escalation campaign out of Herrick Games in Santa Cruz area. Where the idea was to start with a 1750 point list, and then damage and things carry over as game to game. Which it gets brutal. It's like which was going to be a 3 game. So it's like by the end of the third or the end of the second game, I was like, everyone's probably going to have maybe 1 Titan, and then it's just one big
and a single night.
Yeah, right. So in concept, it worked out really well. 2 of the guys were newer to the game, so they ended up. Their one game took the whole day just because they were learning. And one guy was very just kind of methodical and playing through it, and did a bunch of corrupted Titan stuff for his first game, which was kind of playing in hard mode there. But they had a great game, and so everybody else, we ended up doing 2 games out of that, which was super fun. And then Anthony, former G3, the original G3, up out of Chico and Reading area.
G3 was a gaming group.
Yep.
That Jeff and I did a whole thing about a narrative event that Scott ran for G3 down here.
Yeah.
Once
Scott moved down to Santa Cruz, he and I put together G3 Santa Cruz. And
it was super fun.
Yeah. So anyway, Anthony and that group was kind of the original G3, which is Gotham House Game Group. He ran a really fun narrative day up in Chico in November that me and Brian went up to.
Nice.
And it was a big Titan game specifically. So the first scenario was if it's a Warbringer or above, you bring that. So I ended up painting a War Master for that event specifically, which has been super fun to play with since then too. But then he also did something which really was fun and unique, was that it was a Zone Mortalis terrain with only knights. So it was basically representing the under what's going on underneath the city and the sewers and things like that, which is too small of a scale for Titans to engage in. So Titans are happening. Titan battles are above ground, and Knights are doing kind of this infiltration thing underground, which was really fun.
Did you see the announcement of the plastic Saras this night?
Yes, I did. Yeah,
that looks sick.
It looks pretty good.
28 millimeter scale. Which those are sweet models. Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's kind of the big thing. Gotten back to my RPG roots too, which has been nice. Call of Cthulhu, as you spoke about, was great. Having grown up with such a heavy Chaosium influence, which are the publishers for Elric, Pendragon,
Call of
Cthulhu being the biggest of there. I'd actually never played D&D until the pandemic, so I ended up playing a couple of D&D campaigns. Just Travis ran one of them, my brother ran one, and had just fun getting back to RPGs.
Yeah. Speaking of RPGs, we're going to be doing Dark Heresy. We'll talk about that. It's going to be we're going to do live play portion of that for the Patreon.
Yes.
So I'm writing all that right now. And getting John French's input on what I'm writing, since I chat with him on a regular basis too.
So that's killer.
He and Alan Bly wrote a lot of Dark Heresy stuff. So yeah, it'll be interesting.
Sweet.
Yeah, that's awesome.
What about you, Aaron? What have you been up to?
Well, as you pointed out, work. Lots of work.
We work at the same company.
Yep. And it's work.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy with what I do, but it's work. Moving on.
Good choice.
I
missed
missed
the
Adepticon.
No, tell us exactly what you do on a daily day.
Oh God. First I
What
press.
is it you say you do?
So
No,
imagine
don't.
cats. I missed Adepticon. It was such a bummer.
Poor decision, but hey.
No, it was not. Because
I got his room, so I'm happy.
yeah, well, there was that.
Carl is a great spooner.
As Carl
Show it with.
made the comment of when your wife wants to do something, you back it. Adepticon is my weekend of me getting away and doing what I want. Every year that it's happened, I've been, since I started going, I've been going. This year, my wife's favorite band forever, literally forever, was opening a new tour. So I said, no, it's okay. You go do that. I'll skip Adepticon.
You know
this
what?
year, and I'll do it.
Now that
again.
you put
I'll
it
do
that
next
way,
year.
all right, fine.
So
That's probably why I'm separated. I would
Fine.
have been like, grab a girlfriend. I'm going to Adepticon.
well, see, I didn't go with her. I stayed home and watched the kid. She went with a bunch of her friends.
Oh.
So, but yeah, it sucked because I love Adepticon. I love hanging out with
Yep.
everybody.
We missed you there.
Shadows of Brimstone. I'm so bitter.
Yeah, we
that you
we
got to
play a Shadows of Brimstone. Matt Weeks runs a event for us it's a private Shadows, and all this stuff is like super
it's-
professionally painted.
It's so
Not
amazing.
only is he an amazing painter, but then like he has like Golden Demon winners painted some of his stuff. It's
That's
crazy.
so awesome. Anyway,
Slap chop, though.
Yeah.
No.
That's
I know.
My stuff.
high end slap chop.
very very high end slap chop.
NMM slap chop.
It's called whip chop at that point.
All right. What else have you been up to?
Loads of board games.
Yeah.
So as we kind of hinted at, I have over 1,000 board games because I'm insane. But it's one of those things, and really one of the games that got me really going in board games was Advanced Space Crusade and Warhammer Quest.
Wow.
And I still have both of them, which I've acquired since then because I didn't own them at the time. And that's what started my board game fascination, and it has grown a lot. Kickstarter is a terrible, terrible thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's enough of board games. If you want to talk
we've
to me
been
about
playing-
board games, you can ping me.
We've been playing Lord of the Rings Journeys Through Middle Earth, which has been pretty awesome.
Which is a great board game app integration done really well.
Yep.
It's good.
Cool.
Yeah, lots of fun with that. Along the board games stuff, my son, I've been getting into board games, and he's gotten really into Gloomhaven, which is a very heavy board game. And he does stuff that I'm like, don't do that. But because of my cautious way I play it, it works out really well. Like, we're winning all these missions that I'm like, when I've played before, I couldn't get past like mission number 2, but because of the way he plays, it works out, and it's been amazing to play with him.
Sweet.
Nice, yeah.
Even though he drives me batty, but yes,
That's cool to share that experience. All
Yep.
the same. Yep.
it's great. Yeah. So I just finished listening to the Necron audiobook, Twice Dead King Ruin, and it has really re-sparked my Necron interest.
Interesting. Okay.
Which I've been a Necron player since they dropped in 3rd edition when they actually got warriors,
Second
plastic
edition,
warriors. No, I went back and collected all that stuff, but
Wait, so I've been
with
playing Necrons longer.
3rd
Just
edition,
saying.
and yet your main army is not Necrons. What's wrong with you?
I have more Necrons than anything else.
Oh crap!
That is his main army.
And we need to talk more.
Yeah.
Chaos versus Necrons.
Hell yeah, and we'll bring it in force.
Especially after seeing that chaos little sneak
I
peek.
know. I saw. Mm.
And then playing a lot of online games. Played D&D through the pandemic. An amazing long campaign. It was great. We met almost every other week. Was what the
Yeah,
plan
you guys
was.
were. Yeah.
For a while, we were meeting weekly, and then it slowly trickled off to once a month. But we got through the whole campaign. It was the Descent into Avernus campaign, and it was just great.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
All right.
Pretty
That's
much
you.
it. Yeah.
That's you. Yeah. It's been a long 2 years.
But 40K, man, I cannot wait to get.
Yeah, I am very, very excited about getting back into 40K. And we'll talk about that coming up. So let's take a short break. And welcome back. Here we go again.
Good to be here.
Yeah. So now we're going to talk a little bit about, and we've been avoiding this as we've been talking about the other things, a little bit about where do we want to go going forward. Both, we'll talk a little bit about the show. We'll talk about what we want to do hobby-wise moving forward, and everything kind of around that. We've alluded to 10th edition, all of us at this point, a little bit.
Wait, there's a new edition coming?
That's what I heard.
It's the big rhino in the room.
It's driven over us a couple times.
Yeah, so I have in the notes here, I definitely want to play more 40K in 10th edition.
Absolutely.
I think I played the most 40K I ever played in 8th edition.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I'm really hoping that this 10th edition and everything we're seeing
Brings
me,
back
that feeling. Yeah.
I think it's the experience most people are looking for, at least in our group.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think we're going to see a little bit of imbalance as people begin to get codexes and people are still working from indexes.
It's unavoidable.
Yeah. Yeah. But, I don't care. The thing for me, the struggle I have right now is the Tyrannid. They're not leaks. What they've released about the Tyranids so far has me super excited about Tyranids. Yeah. I have a Tyrannid army.
That Leviathan box looks incredible too.
I have a ton of Tyranids that are sort of painted out in the garage in boxes. The other problem is they've released the new gaunts and
they look amazing.
Yeah, they look great.
I think you need to do your sisters.
I have like 300 gaunts.
Yeah. Hey, Justin, you stay out of this, man.
Hold on, I'm getting to that.
You already bent their tails too.
I bent the
they
tails
look
on them
great.
and everything. I used the candle to bend all the tails. Did I ever tell you about that? Yeah,
You did.
I'll tell you about that. So I have those. I have Sisters of Battle, of which when I had always said if they come out with these in plastic, I'm gonna go in, and man, did I go in. I have probably a third of them assembled, and it fills a whole cabinet over there behind me. And I still have a bunch to assemble. So there's that. And then I still have the Black Legion, which is Chaos is my one kind of true love.
New edition, new army.
And so I am really struggling with, I have to focus on one of these things.
Yeah, that's...
So here is what I'm going to say is I'm going to kind of put it to the community a little bit and say,
that's a fun idea.
What should I focus on? Of those
A poll.
three.
I wonder if they should do that for all of us.
I think that's a good idea.
Stop stealing my ideas.
Oh, is that in the show notes?
No, I just brought it up now.
No, I would have
think-
stolen it.
I think I'm going to put it to the community as to what I should focus on next. And let's see if I can run a poll on the IC's
I think that would be fun.
Facebook group.
Yeah, you can run that on Facebook community or Discord or both.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Compare and contrast,
Yeah.
add it up.
So we'll see where that goes. Those are what I'm struggling with. One reason I'm leaning away from Chaos, get this, Shell wants to get back into 40K with the new edition. And I said, if there is a time to do it, now is the time to do
And
it.
she wants more purple Night Lords, doesn't she?
She wants Night Lords.
Yep.
Purple Night Lords that
Painted by Caleb.
Wissenbeck painted for her kill team. So Caleb still owes me a painting session. He was going to come over and kind of give me a recipe and work with me on getting the sisters started originally. And I'm like, let's have him come over and show Shell how to paint the Chaos Night Lords.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, and Caleb's like, I'll do both. And I'm like, all right, let's figure it out. And he actually
Deal.
just messaged me today and was like, what day are we doing this? And I'm
Awesome.
like, all
Yeah.
right.
That's great.
So,
Make
You know-
it happen.
On your birthday, he almost stole your Titan.
oh man, I wish you'd let him.
We were conspiring against it. And
Why
how
didn't
to
you
do it?
let him do it?
I was trying. I was encouraging him.
I could, yep. Same.
Free.
Oh, Not free.
That was the
That's the rub.
That's the rub.
I don't need to repaint the Titan, but
Caleb really wants to repaint it.
repaint. So Shell wants to get into it. And this is where I was talking about Dark Heresy earlier and how we're going to run Dark Heresy as we're going to relaunch a Patreon. And one of the things you will get with the Patreon is live play episodes of us playing Dark Heresy. And we're doing a lot of prep for that. But Shell was like, hey, do you think that would be something I could join in on? And I was like, well, maybe you should play D&D first. And she was like, well, I've played D&D before. Like she had many years ago. And like, that was where I caught myself and I'm like, what am I doing?
What are you doing?
Yes, you absolutely can participate in that. So we're putting together a good group for that. It should be very, very interesting. But this, and so it was after that she was like, do you think with this new edition, like that would be a good time for me to get back into 40K? Yep. That would be the perfect time.
Yeah.
I said, oh yeah, you've got the Eldar. And she goes, yeah, I was thinking about these Chaos guys. Like she's big on Chaos. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, maybe I should play your Eldar because that's a great army.
Yep.
And it's really well painted too. And I can paint in that scheme. I'm talented enough to be able to add more units to that. So anyway, Shell's getting into it again. Caleb's going to come down. We're figuring out the date. I'm definitely encouraging that. Boarding actions. Everybody keeps talking about boarding actions.
Super fun.
I have not played it yet. I'm really looking forward to doing that. Kill Team. I still love Kill Team. Super great.
Yeah, I want to get more into Kill Team.
And then I have Necromunda here. Josh needs to run a campaign. I'm ready with my Goliath guys. But I don't know if I want you to focus on that or focus on
Titanicus?
Well, you're already focused on Titanicus, or just focus on 10th edition.
Why pig?
Well, because we do have some
like,
We
limited
haven't
real
said it yet
lives.
this episode. We are in the golden age of gaming. Why limit ourselves?
We're not right now, but I'm
we
hoping
will
we will be soon. So, for me, I like those are the things I'm going to focus on. I'm going to put it to the community which of these three armies I should focus on. I'm fine with either of them, to be honest with you. But then the other thing is, like, as you can see around us, if you're watching this on YouTube, we're trying to kind of change things around with the show and do some other things. We've invested in a little bit of equipment. Josh already had a lot of equipment. We've invested a little bit more in some equipment to kind of straighten out a few technical things we're having. Not only this, but I want to see where else we can do some very interesting things. Josh had brought up, battle reports. And my thing is, there's a lot of guys out there that are doing great battle reports. There are shows that just like
Play
focus. Play on.
Like, how do you beat that? It's not a matter of beating it.
Tabletop Tactics are doing some
Tabletop
amazing
Tactics.
stuff. I mean, these guys are doing like great stuff. Is that what we want to do, or do we want to focus on our own thing? Or if we focus on those things, do we want to give it our own narrative kind of thing? I spent some time talking with Mini Wargaming Dave while I was at Adepticon as well, and we had a great conversation about the new Shattered Star stuff he's coming out, or Ravaged Star stuff he's coming out with. I backed those on Kickstarter because I thought, these would be great Chaos models. Now I'm kind of interested in what he's doing game-wise as well. So
it's a pretty interesting concept.
Yeah.
I ended up talking to him for 30, 45 minutes at Adepticon.
Which, by the way, his video on mental health
Was
and gaming
fantastic.
was phenomenal.
yeah.
And
I think it hit home for me definitely
Yeah.
recently. And yeah, I mean, look, Dave's a great guy. I've known him for a few years now. Like, we connected, he and I and his wife all connected one year at Adepticon really closely. And he pulled me and he wanted to talk to me, and I thought, just for a couple minutes. And Shell was literally like walking the floor with me at Adepticon, and he goes, can I, interview for a couple minutes around the Ravaged Star thing? I said, sure. And we ended up like going like 25, 30 minutes. And I was like, I turned to Shell, I go, I'm really sorry about that. I go, hey, did you take any pictures? She goes, no, I should have took some pictures, huh? Yeah, that would have been cool. That would have been cool. So I don't know, but I am super jazzed about 10th Ed. I'm ready to do something new. I'm ready to do new army or expand on an army I have, or whatever it takes. But we're going to play a lot of it. I'm going to set up game days again. We're going to do a lot of that stuff.
Yep, absolutely.
So that's me. that's me. I am excited to where we're going with the show. I want to really kind of take things in a different direction, do new stuff that we haven't done before, do some fun stuff, do some silly stuff.
I think that's the key word, fun,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
honestly,
Enjoy
just
it.
even our simple little lounge act we got going on here,
Yeah,
it's kind of fun.
it's more
Yeah.
comfortable than
It's
sitting at
comfy,
the
It's
it's
chill.
cozy. Yeah.
desk.
People get to
right?
see our ugly mugs.
Yeah, I don't know that that's a good thing, but not in my case.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Some of
We'll
us,
see if the numbers drop off after the first
Yeah.
episode.
some of us don't have goatees anymore. Some of us have
Wax stachios.
spindly stash.
Waxtachios.
Aaron, what about you? What are you heading?
Oh man, I much like all of us, we're gonna probably say the same thing. Cannot wait for 10th.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to get back into it. We almost got back into it a few months ago for night at the end of the nights, but knowing 10th was coming, or the rumors were that
You were
10th
the
was
one that put
coming.
me off it. I was like, hey, let's play a game. You're like, well, isn't 10th around? I'm like,
Well, let's play Kill Team. Let's play something else. And then we're like, oh, let's go back to the Lord of the Rings
Yeah.
board game and play that.
Path of Least Resistance.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm much like you, trying to figure out what army I'm going to work on.
Mm-hmm.
I have a ton of different choices. Some completely painted up, some half painted up, which is more than most people own, and some nowhere near it. So I really want to lay out all my Necrons and see what my point total is, painted, unpainted, etc.
Mhm.
Figure out what I want to do there. I want to get my Imperial Knights to the table at least once. They're all painted. They've never been to the table.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then see where I go.
Yeah.
I'll probably do League of Votan because they're new and I want to see them on the table.
And you
Yeah.
haven't touched them with the paintbrush yet
I
either,
haven't
right?
touched them with the paintbrush
So-
yet.
Perfect.
Cool models too.
Yeah, they're
Really
neat
cool.
looking.
In fact, the one, like, he's like a priest or something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He almost looks like he belongs in AOS, right?
When
Yeah,
I
the
saw that
fantasy guy
guy,
that's
like
snuck
I was
in.
kind
Yeah.
of, I'm not feeling the vibe. When I saw that guy, I was like, oh,
Yeah, he
that is
looks awesome.
amazing. He's a great model.
And I don't have him because I only have the box set.
Yeah.
So I got to paint the box set and then I'll pick him up.
That model, like, to me, speaks of, like, it seems to me like in AOS, Games Workshop is almost fearless. Like, we're going to do these crazy things, and they do
Yeah.
crazy things in 40K, but
not that,
But not
crazy.
like
that's
that,
like an extreme crossover.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that model, carve off a few bits into AOS he goes.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I want to get more of my Necromunda gangs painted up. I have all of them except the corpse grinders.
Mhm.
I would like to get a few of them painted.
You have all of them?
All of them except the corpse grinders,
Wow.
He just keeps buying them as they come out.
I mean,
because I'm stupid and I will not let So Necromunda, I learned to play it after it was discontinued, and I loved it. Loved the idea of it. Loved the aspect of it. Legends of the Old West was the same rule set.
Yeah, it's a great system.
Yep.
Loved it.
I didn't realize that used the same rule set.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
the
cool.
Warhammer historicals. But I really loved it. So I was like, oh, but nobody's playing it. So when they relaunched it, I'm like, I'm buying everything.
Right.
Literally everything. Oh,
This is
hey,
why
Eric, a new thing comes out. Yep, I'm getting it.
But this is why you think Kickstarter's so evil, right? I mean, Kickstarter's the same way. It's like, well, I buy this game. Do I really need these 4 expansions with it? The reality is I probably don't play that game enough to need those 4 expansions. But the problem is those expansions may not be available in the future.
Right.
So I better get them. I bought the
But see,
Mansions of Madness. I knew it was going out of print. So I was like, oh, I'm buying all the
All of it,
expansions.
but I mean, the problem with your statement is the word need was in there and you used it wrong. The answer is you do need all the expansions because they're all the expansions. This is the problem. This
Just
is
'cause
why
that
I have
argument
over
was
1,000 board
circular.
games.
Didn't make it any more right.
Yes, it did.
Well quoted.
There's
Yes,
also
it
an
did.
aspect of this hobby that's called collecting.
Yeah.
Oh
You
my
know?
God.
And if there's one thing I've learned over
We got Trazen the Collector over here.
that stuff comes
Did you like that one?
stuff
That's
comes
the
around,
Yeah.
like the old world is coming back. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, I'm sure glad I have
Oh yes.
3 or 4 armies that are on square bases.
Oh, I
I'm
burned
ready to
mine,
go.
Unfortunately, so
So
Yeah, but they don't need to be on square. Well, actually, I don't know.
they will
We'll
for
see.
that. Yeah.
They will for Old
They
World.
will,
Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, just a lot more gaming. Seeing where it takes us.
All right. All right. Josh.
Yeah. Sound like a broken record here.
10th
Super excited
edition.
for 10th edition.
All right. Can we all agree? Let's just get that one out. We're all excited about
No,
10th
Justin's not excited. He said earlier that he cannot. He's very
Doubling
upset
down on
that
War
10th is
Cry.
coming.
10th edition sucks.
Yeah, dude. Proofs in the pudding, Games Workshop.
Yeah.
Make me love your game.
Yeah, there you go. Earn my love back.
Sound like a Don talking about Necromunda.
I hate that game. Oh, fair.
You know, the best part about this is
He can't talk.
like he
back.
can't come back here and talk about it. Yeah.
He's going to
I'm
be
sure
extra vocal on the
comment
community
threads
page
are
and
gonna be-
Discord, though.
He's going to be yelling at the radio when he's
Perfect.
listening to it.
Perfect.
He'll be in his car, stuck in LA traffic.
LA traffic. I was
cursing
just
our
going to say
names.
that. Yep.
Perfect.
So 40K 10th edition, super excited. My Primaris focus is going to be on the Carcharodons, Sharkadons, Primaris contingent. I've got a huge army of them and small marines, and have already owned all the models to make a full proper Primaris force out of that.
I was going to ask, because if
yeah.
you need some, like, I am not going to invest in the Minotaurs anymore.
and
If you need any of those Primaris stuff, I have sprues of guys.
If you do end up picking up Leviathan, I'd probably split the box with you for
So
some
many
of
new
this
models,
stuff.
dude. Those new Terminators.
Honestly, the
the
one
Terminators
thing I
look
don't
so
have
good.
that I really want is the Brutalis Dreadnought, which is the Redemptor double fist Dreadnought. Like, I have to have one for this.
Well, I am going to split that, so
yeah.
let's split
All
it.
right, done.
Right.
Aside from that, I'd been talking about it for a couple years in the past and then hadn't played a lot of 40K, but my Necron army is huge, and I'm probably 10 models away from being 100% painted and done with that army. So I should probably get that
Didn't
done.
you even sell off parts
I
of it?
sold off a huge chunk of it because it was enough. I had, I don't know, 8,000 plus points of Necrons that were ready to go because it was my Apocalypse army way back in 5th edition. Ended up selling off maybe a third of it. So I still have a huge force of Necrons that's all painted minus like the last 10 models, which are, I think, 3 vehicles and a handful of the newer like destroyer wraiths and things like that.
Wow.
Nice. So really close to being done with that one. So that's definitely going to get across the finish line in the not too distant future. Boarding action, I've had a blast with it so far and definitely look forward to diving deeper with that one. That's already been a nice reintroduction into 40K. And when we add the simplification of 10th edition on top of that, I think it's going to be a great time to just sit down, bust out a game, have fun. Even if you have a low, small time window of opportunity, something like that, you can play a game pretty quick.
Awesome.
The longest part of that game is setting up the terrain, and I'm working on magnetizing mine, so just snap them together, good to go. And I've had a blast with that, and really looking forward to doing more with that.
And they announced too, like that rule set, it's going to transfer over, right? There's not going to be like this new boarding. It's just
Rules
cool is
wise, as far
There
as
might be some little adjustments, I would imagine.
FAQ or something.
Yeah, it's probably something they could one sheet.
the format is 100% carrying over. There, maybe some small tweaks just to get it in line with
Like
what
if there's
text
changes on
but-
blast weapons, or something,
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Thinking.
I think it'll port very
Back to
easily.
the Flamer template.
It's such a simple version of even 9th edition now that I think it
Yeah.
will translate really well to however
Cool.
10th plays out. Obviously 8mm future is there for me. I got Aeronautica, which I've been having a lot of fun with. Want to keep going with that. I've got about 5 or 6 more points to paint, and then I'm going to be good with that. I also did buy one of the box sets that has the Orcs and Imperial Navy, so at some point I'll paint those up just to have variety. But for right now, I'm focusing on the 30K element of that. Titanic is obviously, I'm about 4 Titans away from calling my Legio done, and then I'm going to do one last big one on top of that, which is either going to be a Corrupted Titan or a Psi Titan, depending on.
You're 4 Titans away. You have a lot of Titans though.
Yeah. Well, in the 4 that I'm away, they're all work in progress right now, so I am painting them, and then I'm going to go back and paint.
I'm just saying,
the
like,
last few weapons that I.
the
have
interesting
done.
thing about Titanic is you actually don't need a whole.
So the reason I say I'm 4
Need.
Titans away is because once I have painted these 4 Titans, I can field every single mana pool that is available in that game,
Okay.
and that gives me every option I could ever want
Got
to
it.
field within a game.
Got
of
it.
Titanic.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's contained in 1 Legio, and a lot of people don't go that far, and they'll split into a second Legio.
Yeah.
I was like, I just want to have every option. I want to play with whatever I want to play, and within my Legio, and it's such a fun paint scheme, like the purple,
Yeah.
the white, the gold, the checkers, the stripes. Like I've had a blast painting this force. So
That's awesome.
definitely looking forward to doing a few more of those, and then going big with a couple. One kind of big finale project.
Right.
And then until new toys come out, and then there's obviously rumors of Epic too, which we haven't addressed.
I just heard that.
I'm hoping will be in that same 8mm scale.
Same
I'm
scale.
sure
So
it will.
it has to be.
Titans, Planes, and Epic. Like I'm here for it. So,
Please.
yep.
Air battles,
Yes.
army
Please.
men, robots.
And just the integration potential of that with campaign play. So like play a game of Battlefleet Gothic, and then you have planes, trains, and airplanes. But trains are Titans. So
There you go.
we got it all.
There you go.
In addition to that, obviously Necromunda. It's always been near and dear to me. I've got a couple gangs that are built and in progress. I'm looking forward to finishing painting those. My Cawdor Redemptionist is a big one I'm really excited for. As much fire as you can get in that gang is ideal. It's so fun just watching people run around on fire and running into walls and falling down, and their buddies come and stomp them out. Like it's
Doesn't get better.
it for me, that is kind of peak Necromunda. So you got
It's the simple things in
everyone
life, you know?
has to have a Cawdor gang to some point. I do really want to run an Ashways campaign, but I also want everybody to have their bespoke gang vehicles out before that's or at least vehicles period, even if they're the custom vehicles or some of the available generic vehicles. Ashways adds so much to Necromunda, which is already a really fun game system, but you really need vehicles in order to unlock the potential of what Ashways brings. So
And some of those vehicles are so awesome looking.
Yep. Once everybody's on board with some vehicles, 100% running an Ashways campaign, but I will run an Underhive campaign of some sort. I'm hoping this summer, especially since we have so many teachers in our group too, that just adds more availability. I've also got an Outcast gang going, which I have just been thinking of making that, giving it a little bit more of an Ashways focus with motorcycles and things like that. They're not the best option, but it's just fun, and there's so much. That gang in general is really the Swiss Army knife of whatever you want to do in Necromunda. There's an option for you to build it that way. So, I'll figure out how I want to go with that and dive deep. I have a stupid amount of terrain that I need to build, paint, etc. And this is
Aaron passed over a bunch of terrain to me, and I passed over to you because I knew you're the Necromunda guy.
so I probably have 2 tables worth of Ashways terrain going. I have a whole nother Underhive Necromunda terrain board to build in addition to the one I already have. I have so much 40K terrain that's been sitting in shrink wrap boxes for 3 years now because
I still have a ton out there.
And
Which-
I just gave you more.
100% want to revamp my 40K terrain, and 10th edition is going to be a big spur of getting that done because it's been sitting for so long just because it kind of fell out of playing. So wasn't a whole lot of need to paint terrain, and then obviously moving, I didn't want to build all this terrain and then move and deal with that. So a huge amount of that. And then just really looking forward to playing more RPGs in general, especially kicking off the Dark Heresy and that campaign and just seeing where that goes.
Yeah. It was funny when I brought up to John French.
Yep.
We have a conversation every couple of weeks, he and another friend of ours, Ed, and we get on Zoom and talk, and he doesn't really check social media as much as he used to. And he said, I just looked on the Facebook thing. I see you're bringing back independent characters. I'm super excited about that. And we were talking. I said, oh, yeah, we're going to do this live play of Dark Heresy. And he said first or second edition because he wasn't involved in the second edition, but he and Alan did a lot of the first edition stuff. I said, oh, first edition, we're going to, he goes, oh, that's so cool. Oh, and then he just went off, like just started talking about all the Dark Heresy stuff. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to give you my outline of the adventure and have you kind of take a look at it and then
That's cool.
give some pointers. So that should be pretty cool. Yeah.
Nice.
That's crazy.
If there's an expert around on it now, it's him. So
That's true.
Take advantage.
yeah.
Sweet.
What about you, man? What are you looking for? Let me guess. 10th edition.
No, we already covered that.
Oh, right.
Warcry.
Obviously, we're all really excited about 10th. Goes without saying, but I have a lot of models that I just need to finish.
Mm-hmm.
I was really focused on the Hedonites.
Yeah.
So I want to finish them up, finish my Void's Guard. Hell, I even have a unit of Incubi and Drazar that are like, what I'm saying is I need to finish things. I need to complete things in life,
Fair enough.
So finish those projects, which has been nice. I've been obviously painting a lot lately and getting back into that mojo.
Yeah.
And getting inspired again. But mostly excited to play whatever game comes my way. Excited to learn new games with you guys. Like just hearing you guys talk about Titanicus, I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm
it's pretty
getting
awesome.
a little fired up, you know.
And the miniatures are amazing.
They're
so
super
fun.
cool. They're super cool.
They're, and I use this word correctly, literally a full-size like Reaver 28 millimeter
Mhm.
type. Just imagine
Shrunk
it
down.
shrunk down.
I've seen
That's-
them. Yeah, I know.
I'm just
But
saying
they're-
that's the amount of components you're putting
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's all doable.
Oh yeah, no, it's
with
doable.
plastic glue.
Yep.
Plastic
glue and a couple magnets go a really long way.
a long
This
way.
is true. Yeah.
You have to magnetize this.
Which on that note, man, some of these new Games Workshop kits, if you're not using plastic glue,
Who uses plastic glue?
I do.
I use super glue.
Yeah, we use super glue.
No.
oh yeah, Josh, dude,
All right.
just
Listen.
wait.
I'll tell you what. I'm going to use some plastic glue on the next things I assemble, and maybe I'll be a convert because I did use plastic glue in the past and was not happy with the results. So,
There are some kits that I've built, mostly from AOS, that I could not even I couldn't do with super glue
why?
because the way they go together and the way you need to wiggle parts in. And
Oh, it dries too fast.
dries
for
too
you to-
fast. You need that
Oh, I
working
see what you're
time.
saying.
Yeah, it's
Sometimes
I mean,
for me,
you
it doesn't
could,
dry
but-
fast enough. I use the accelerator.
plastic glue.
All right.
Tamaya.
All right. We'll see.
Yeah, we will
100%.
see.
All right.
But yeah,
Listen,
learning new games
You know
and
more about it than I do.
yeah, but teaching more classes. I think
I'm excited for you to get back into doing that.
yeah, I really got a genuine love of it before the pandemic, and then everything went
Everything
to
shut
crap,
down.
You
Then
know,
the world tried to stop you, but you're back.
back.
The world tried to stop. Yeah, it did.
It did, but obviously, you guys all play multiple game systems. I have multiple game systems I play with other friends. I'm just looking forward to just embracing the hobby again and falling back in love with it.
Good.
Awesome.
I love it.
Short and sweet.
I love it. I love it. All right. I think that's us. Like, I think we have kind of our objective. I'm going to put up a poll for which army. I'll put that up.
I may join you in that poll too.
Really?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I've kind of narrowed it down to a couple armies. Part of me really wants to do a Gene Stealer cult army,
Okay.
Oh, so fun.
mostly because
Mats looks so good.
It's so good.
I've always loved the models.
Yeah.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
But also because that was an army that our friend Doug played, you know, so it's
Mhm.
almost like kind of I want to pay a little tribute and
Yeah.
kick ass in his name, you know.
This stuff looked amazing too.
Yeah.
It did.
Well, I'll talk a little bit about his armies at the end of the show too, because there's some things going on there.
Yeah.
So yeah. Well, I think that sounds awesome. So we've got our marching orders. Figure out where we're going to commit, and then we're going to hold each other accountable on the show notes.
Wait a
While we're
minute.
holding
Nobody
each other
said it
accountable.
accountable.
Yeah, this is all just a sketch.
Yeah. This is a.
There's no Sharpies here. It's a sketch.
The one long
Listen,
Wait, no,
buddy.
there's Sharpies for gold.
Did you see
Oh God.
it released
You guys.
specifically for painting Sharpies?
The one long-term plan I'm just remembering now is that I do want to get back to, and 10th edition has inspired this, my love of Eldari. I've been playing Eldar since 2nd edition. I
Yeah.
had an army again.
So many good
Had a
models.
2nd
too.
edition army, I had a 5th edition army, and I'm looking forward to bringing it back in 10th again. So
Where are
Nice.
the
Yeah.
aspect warriors in plastic?
they already got a few.
We got Banshees, we
Yeah.
got Reapers.
I got a few.
Okay.
They're coming.
Banshees,
I'm waiting
At
for
what
Scorpions.
pace?
I want
Well, listen.
Scorpions.
When you're Eldar, time is measured in centuries.
I think you're missing it. They've already come out as Tyranids. They've been eaten, digested, and put out.
That and there's also Spaz Marines that need releasing every 2 days.
Did you see the
new
comment on
lieutenants.
the board the other day where the guy's like, "Oh, great, another Space Marine," and GW's reply was, "Are you new here?" I was like, "Yeah,
Nice.
what a great."
We got to pay the
response.
bills.
Yeah.
I love
I mean-
that they're cheeky about it.
Was
though.
it a
They're
lieutenant?
Yeah, it was.
Perfect.
It was amazing. It was amazing. All right, let's take a short break. We'll come back and we'll close out the show.
Sounds good.
great.
All right, let's close out the show for the
Third
first
time.
time in 2 years.
First time in a long time.
So we got a few final messages I want to impart, and then I'll pass it around to each of you if you have anything you want to say what's going on. First of all, Table War Charities. I can't speak enough about the work that is being done for autism advocacy with Table War Charities. Table War Charities is run by Todd Kincaid, one of the founders of Table War, who has a personal experience with his child with autism. And I have to tell you, I went out to Hawaii where Todd lives and met his son again. And I hadn't seen Tyler in 4 years maybe. When I first met Tyler, Tyler was basically nonverbal. I mean, like he would talk, but not much at all. And we went over to Todd's house, and Shell and I were there, and Tyler came out, and Tyler starts asking me questions, and he's carrying on conversations, and he left the room, and I turned to Todd and I go, "Who's that kid?" Like it has made such a difference in his life having a dad like Todd, who learned how to advocate for his kid going through school, ensured the school provided the necessary support of Tyler. And from that, Todd started Table War Charities to help other parents who struggle to get the support they need from the schools, to advocate, provide tools for advocation. In some cases, send an advocate to assist with them. And Shell, being a teacher, also gets frustrated on that side because she's limited on what she can actually say. And that's incredibly frustrating to her.
Ridiculous.
It is. So it's non-adversarial. We send an advocate that helps and that kind of thing, or we provide tools and tell them, here's what you can ask for and can force. But it's really, really helpful. And I'm a member of the board as well. So not speaking from a totally neutral standpoint here, but we do occasional charities and our drawings and that kind of thing. We did one at Adepticon. We have one coming up soon. Just keep your eye out. But Table War Charities does a lot of great work. So I just wanted to mention them really quick.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Great
cause.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And I cannot tell you how many people came up to us while I was working the booth there at Adepticon. And they're like, oh, this really speaks to me because my sister, my brother, my son, my niece, my nephew have autism, and I have autism, and I could have really used this help. It was shocking how many people it spoke to. So anyway, enough about that. The next thing I wanted to talk about, again, a little bit of is Doug, without trying not to break down. But Doug was hugely into Warhammer, originally fantasy, but then 40K. If you've listened to the show for a while, you've heard him on a few episodes. He's been on. Great guy, great friend of all of us.
And he's done those videos and
he did ridiculous videos. He was
Oh
so creative and so funny and so clever, but he was also incredibly talented as a painter.
Yep.
And his main army was Imperial Guard. This was always his first love. And he has a massive Imperial Guard army, which is very well painted.
So many tanks.
Yeah, and his wife has kind of charged me with, what do I do with this stuff? I want to sell it. I want to sell it and help fund the kids, college futures, whatever. Right. Cool. And so right now we're trying to decide, how do we best go about that? And one of the things I was talking earlier with Josh about was, does it make sense to sell it directly, or does it make sense to do a raffle kind of thing and try to earn as much as we can to support Doug's family going forward? And it wasn't just that. He had other armies he had as well. So I'm thinking that might be the way to go. We'll see what happens as we kind of walk through our options with his wife and such. So anyway, look for that in the future. We will talk about that, and we will try to promote it and let you know, hey, here's what's going on there. Next is the Patreon. Changing up the Patreon a bit. We're offering some really interesting things. It's not live yet. It will come live at some point in June. We're still figuring out what to do in regards to access to the Discord channel. We will keep the Discord open as is our thinking, but we might make some changes or make an area only available to Patreon subscribers. We haven't quite settled on that yet. Be interested in hearing what your guys' thoughts are there. But what we do know is at certain levels, we are offering, as we did before, shout outs on the show where we draw from any level that you've supported, 2 names that will be the sponsors of that show. So we'll talk about that. But then additionally, we are at the highest levels going to be offering an additional episode, which will be a different format. It will be an interview. I have a idea for a series that I want to do where we talk to people in the community who have had a big impact on Warhammer 40K, kind of across around the globe. And most of these will be probably remote interviews, most of them. Some may come here to the studio. And then additionally, as I spoke earlier, we're going to do a live play of Dark Heresy that will release each month on the Patreon as well. So there'll be some good stuff there going on, and we'll also offer some discounts. We have a discount from Table War, and then we'll have a discount from Herrick Games and Hobbies, which have great mail order stuff. Like, what a great store that is.
Yeah, one of the best online shops there is.
So
Yeah, it's you know what it reminds me of is when we lost the war store. Yeah. He has really kind of filled that gap for me from what the war store was now. So so we have a lot of things coming up in the very near future. We'll share more of that information as it launches and as it becomes available. But as you know, leave us reviews on iTunes. That'll help
spread the word.
The word that we're back. And I mean, please tell your friends who may have listened in the past that aren't aware or have left the community because they're not, engaged that we have come back. We'll be releasing episodes on, our plan is the 1st and 15th. Now there may be occasional mishaps or, what have you, but that's our plan at this point.
Best laid plans.
That's right. The Facebook community is still there. It's still going strong. I imagine it's going to
get stronger.
I
feel like.
Yeah. Especially as we start posting our work and that kind of stuff. So we haven't been posting a lot of work, but mostly reacting to what people have been
Once
doing.
again, this holding us accountable thing, this is new to me.
We've already alluded to it in this episode, but obviously we are filming every episode we do now.
Yep.
So that will be available on YouTube as well as the standard audio format, however you access that already.
It'll be the same show.
It'll be the same show. You'll just get the visual thing. But if you are at home painting at your desk or something like that, and you're not in your car listening to podcasts, you'll now have the visual thing if you want to pull it up on YouTube while you're painting, building, whatever, or you just want,
Bored at work, want to watch something.
First and foremost, it's going to always be an audio format,
Yes.
but this is really just in support of that. We recognize that a lot of people watch on YouTube or listen through YouTube while they're hobbying. That being said, Patreon members will get early access, a couple days early, to the video and audio, but it's all in one package. The video of the show probably a couple days early.
Right.
We're still settling on the dates around that, which is why we haven't launched Patreon yet.
Exciting
So I think
stuff.
that's all I gotta say. You got anything you want to add, Mr. Kiefer?
It's just good to be back.
Yeah,
It feels really good to be back.
it does.
And
getting the band
it's
back together.
getting the band back
I
together.
feel a little out of practice. Like this is gonna take a little.
Absolutely.
Like it's not just sit down and chat with your friends. Although this episode is more of a sit down and chat here with your friends kind of episode because trying to get everybody warmed up to remember how this worked. Like
Maybe
I'm trying to remember how this
the
worked.
comfy chairs had something to do with that. It's
Yeah.
leisurely chatting.
Yeah, I got my foot up on the table. And
Well, now we got
totally
4
relaxed.
buttons to push, so.
That's true. What about you, Josh? You're in charge of all the video stuff. Like, speaking of which,
Yep.
I'm going to interrupt. Sorry, I said Josh, but the other thing I'd like to just say is when I brought the podcast back last time, it was, listen, this is my show. Everybody else is a guest. That's kind of where things are going to stay ever since Jeff left.
Mm-hmm.
For the first time ever, actually, I'm bringing Josh on as a full partner here because Josh brings to the table here the technical knowledge of the video and audio stuff and editing of the video that I think will take the show to the next level for us.
Makes perfect sense.
And
Absolutely.
he has the time. He's a freelance guy at the moment, and
I'm flexible.
We call them bounty hunters.
I think for me to take it to this next level, I needed somebody who knows how to do this stuff, because it is not me, and I don't have the time to learn it.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, this is what I do professionally, and obviously hanging out with you guys, talking about games. Games have been a part of my life for 30 plus years now, so like it's like breathing.
You got the creds.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
creds. Yeah, just super happy to be here. Really looking forward to just re-engaging with the community in a whole new level. Video format is obviously something new and exciting, and it's very creatively fulfilling for me. In addition to, now I get to paint, I get to talk with you guys, I get to play games, and I get to have fun with video at the same time. So it's really full circle. For
Tapping
me.
into
Yeah,
all
it-
your.
If only I
beats.
could get scuba diving in
perfect.
here somehow too, or mountain biking. Like,
Well, listen, I didn't want
the
to
next underwater
40K.
And I'm out.
Check, please.
Hey, you've got the underwater elves. It'll fit right in.
There you go.
Got a point.
In my fantasy world, not the real world.
Just
Not
get
the
some
real
good
world.
sealant. I'll take some of your iDenith down there. I'll get some photos underwater.
that would be
in
awesome.
context. We got some great coral.
But they're painted so well, they look like they're underwater.
Yeah, exactly.
Be it underwater.
All right.
Yeah, let's just move along from that. Go on.
Yeah. Just super happy to be here. Super happy to be back,
Yeah.
and really excited for what's to come.
Aaron,
No, I mean,
anything to close it out?
pretty much the same thing. I'm excited to get excited about 40K again, right? I mean, it's something that's been such a part of our lives, all of our lives, for so long, and the pandemic just like ripped it out and dropped it on the floor.
Yeah.
And Adepticon 10th edition, bringing it all back.
Yeah.
The ICs. I
Right
mean,
on. Right on.
Yeah.
That's it.
The new era, the next generation. It's not next generation.
The next
It's new era.
The,
Yeah.
the
We're still
old
there.
generation.
The old generation.
The old generation.
Anyway. All right.
Yeah.
Well, listen, let's wrap it up with the traditional. This is Carl,
This is Josh.
This is Aaron.
And this Justin.
and we're coming to you from the Astronomicon, where we never forgot you, and we hope you never forgot us.
Oh.
Where we are the beacon of hobby light in the darkness of the internet.
And in the not too distant future, there will be much war.
And where the beacon is relit. Period.
Boom. All right. We will see you next time for episode 216 of the Independent Characters. This episode of The Independent Characters is protected by the Creative Commons license. If you have further questions as to its use, you can find information on the front page at theindependentcharacters.com.
I'm the security guard at the mall. I ride a Segway around the halls. My name is Carl. So when the zombies come, I reach for my gun. But they catch me instead and then they eat my head. I'm Carl. My name is Carl. I'm Carl. I'm the sitcom star's best friend. I play a likable slob and the job's a dead end. My name is Carl. take a cab. I'm Carl. So when the test tube breaks, I release a deadly virus, killing everyone except for Miley Cyrus. I'm Carl. My name is Carl. I'm Carl. I'm the bumbling police captain. My subordinate over there is that cool, good-looking cop. My name is Captain Carl. So when the terrorists attack, I just shit my crack. I just run away and let Bruce Willis save the day. I'm Carl. My name is Carl. Why are all the cars in the movies dumb, bumbling fools? They're not like the car I know who's really a super cool. My name is Carl. I have a podcast. My wife's a piece of ass. I drive a sports car. Proof point superstar. I'm feeling nifty, 'cause today I'm turning 50. Well, no more work and no more clocks. Nothing but my Xbox. I'm Carl. I'll begin losing my hair. That's okay, there's not much there. I'm Carl. I'll hit the gym. Oh, that's too lame. I'll just home, play some games. I'm Carl. If my arms go down and I start to droop, a Don can help me eat